Hi everybody, Russ the West Ham Network. Hope you're all safe and well, my friends. I generally do. It's Saturday. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff today. How strange is that? I think the last time we did it was this season was the Chelsea away debacle. So let's hope for not a repeat. Obviously, we played Leicester City today, the last game before the World Cup break. I think it's come at the right time, I'll be honest. The break, I think, for West Ham fans and the players as well, and bring you a little bit closer in. There we go. We're at the ground, as you can see. It's grey but not dark. I haven't done my my weather report, but I would say it's going to be a mild day. I don't think it's going to rain today, so I'd say a light jacket would be needed as always because it'll get dark and it gets cold when it gets dark. But anyway, I hope everyone's safe and well. Who have we got already? We've got James, nice and early. Wow, morning, big game today, and we must be on it. We must be on it from the start. I think with a game like today, if we don't come out the blocks and we let Leicester come on to us, so to speak, they're a very dangerous side. They can be a very dangerous side. We had Jack on from the final whistle yesterday, and he was saying that they've found this form, and they have found a bit of form over the last sort of five or so games, and their league position doesn't really reflect where they are as a club. In terms of where they're playing at the moment. I mean, they've got the same goal difference and the same points as us, but they scored twice as many goals and conceded twice as many goals. So, there's going to be goals today, that's for sure. I have no doubt there'll be goals today. Hopefully, slightly more for us than them. But it's going to be, hopefully, it's going to be an entertaining game. So, really interesting, I think, to see not just this game, but the whole match week. The whole game week in the Premier League. There's going to be a few strange results. I wonder if some clubs might rest the World Cup players maybe today. I don't know. We won't, that's for sure. And Pep Guardiola won't, if you listen to his comments yesterday, saying no one's phoned him. And the Spanish coach, the English coach haven't phoned him, and don't bother because we're not going to play. So I think potentially maybe some of the less sort of professional players, is that the right honest players? I think if there's a 50-50, I think if there's a tight challenge, I think they won't think twice about not going in whole hog. But yeah, so I think it's going to be an interesting set of results today. Hopefully we get a good one. I think we can go up to 11th or 12th, something like that today, so we'll see. Who else we've got in the chat? Can't believe we're playing it. I know. Mrs. Pudden was very perplexed when I said, you've got me today. You haven't got me today, we got me on Sunday. She was like, really? You're playing on a Saturday today? I was like, yeah, we are. Hi, Ross, you there? I'm always there, really. I'm always there early, mate. Always there. We're there a little bit earlier today because it's it will be the Remembrance game today as well. So lots more things you have to sort out, making sure. And I think also it's Blesma as well here as well today. So really is sort of a Veterans Day, in all honesty. I feel like it this week. I feel like it, Andy, to be honest. I think it's a nice break for me as well. So I can go on holiday. It should be lovely. It's sunny here. Oh, of course it is, Ralph. It's always sunny in bloody Spain. It's grey here. I think it's going to hit about 17 degrees today, which seems quite balmy. Which I think is quite balmy. But it's a bit nippy now. There's a nip in the air. I've just literally put my top on. I've just put my top on. As I was sat here, I could have walked around without it. Pardon me, I could have walked around without problem. But just had a little chill. And you know me, brothers, I'm not 100% today, so there we go. Confidence of the fan base is at almost low. We must show some conviction and determination not to throw this away. Bill, I totally agree. I totally agree with that statement. You're totally right. I think you need to come out of the blocks today. We haven't done it all season. We haven't done it really for the last year or 18 months, I think. Really hit them, act like the home team. And we need to act like the home team today. By all accounts, based on what Moyes was saying, it's practically a fully fit squad, apart from Cornet, who you won't see until after the World Cup, with his mystery injury. And also maybe Emerson might not be in the squad because he broke his nose and he had to have it reset. So yeah, we'll see. I have no idea, others. I drive in, so I have no idea. Morning talk to you, Dan. Hope you're well. Uh, it's not, ain't gone at 100%. Still there. It's niggly. It's niggly. But I feel a lot better. Thanks for asking, usual suspects. I do appreciate that. But it's just it's just been a busy old week. You know, having to, I mean, this is our third game in 6 days. I've been up to Manchester and back. It's just a long old day, really. So it's been a long week. It's been a long week. So hopefully after today we can chill out and I can start getting ready for my holiday, my hollybobs. Not an easy game. Leicester City will win, says Darius. It won't be an easy game at all. Leicester are a very good side, and as Jack was saying from the final whistle yesterday, actually I went on his show as well for half an hour, so in the evening. They're coming into a lot of form. Traditionally, we've played very well against Leicester. I don't think they've won here until I think it's a good few years ago, 3 or 4 seasons ago. I think it might have been in the first bout of COVID, maybe. I think it's 2-1, but Leicester's always tended to be a good stomping ground for us. But this is a difference. That's what I was saying to Jack yesterday. He was worried. But this is a different West Ham side. I think Leicester's a different side now than they were at the beginning of the season. Played at the beginning of the season, I think it's a slightly different result, I think. But it's going to be a really tough game today. Really tough. And particularly off the back of, well, a loss and a draw, but technically 2 losses. Yeah, it's gonna be it's not gonna be fun. I have been a busy boy, others. There is plenty of that. Flo's not well. Flo got the old sickness bug yesterday, so she's been up all night. Oh dear. Don't rain eat paws in the Budden household, it seems at the moment. Paul, good morning to you. Hope you're well. Going for Peter Casey. Yeah, 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. So I'll be off just before 10 o'clock to have a go. Don't think you should go away. Stay at home and get rid of the car. I should go in your place. I've got a month. Until I go on holiday, so I'll be all right. I think that is. maybe the warm weather will do me well. Maybe the warm weather will do well. So what do we think, guys? What are we thinking about today? How are we confident? Are we? I think there's 2 questions. I think there's confidence in the result and confidence in a good performance. And I mean, I'm usually quite a, as you know, half glass full type of guy. I think we'll get a draw today. I don't think we'll win. But then you just don't know West Ham sometimes. You really don't know. That's what I like about West Ham. At the moment we are quite predictable, but it's these types of games where we know it could turn quite toxic. I think if we go down, if we don't put performance in, that they sometimes put the performance in. I think they want to send the fans home happy, hopefully, in terms of going into the 6-week break. It's going to be very strange not having a 6 week, having football for the next 6 weeks. Very strange. I mean, there'll be plenty of transfer rumours. Don't worry about that. There'll be on the old West Ham network. There'll be plenty of World Cup coverage. We've got a few ex-players lined up. Some slightly random ex-players, which I quite like. Yeah, I think there's probably got 3 lined up, hopefully, over the World Cup at least. And I think if you add up all their appearances, it probably comes to about 15. So yeah, I'm looking forward to chatting to them. Not confident at all. Our luck seems to be all bad lately, and that's what I was saying to Jack yesterday. Actually, I think you make your own luck, so to speak, and we just haven't been. It's like last year. We didn't have as good a side. I don't think. In terms of squad, particularly squad depth. There's no way we could put out almost 2 different teams, but now we can. But it just doesn't seem. But maybe that small squad gave us continuity in a weird way. They were knackered by the end, but maybe that sort of the fact is there wasn't incredible changes from game to game. You had that continuity. Now you've got like a Premier League side, and a sort of a Europa Conference League / Cup side, maybe that's just disrupting momentum because the conference side are banging it, but then they're playing, albeit the opposition, but you play the teams that are in front of you. I don't know. It's a strange one because you go into the season with all these new players and not just like squad players like we did after who was it? Was it Slav, wasn't it? Yeah, when Slav his first season here, we had like the likes of Bogantore, Faguli, we had lots of these Abaloa, we had all these types of players, and they were just to fill the bench up. But these are all first teamers. So personally, I think one of the issues was the business was done quite late on in the transfer window. Therefore, people couldn't necessarily. It was almost like coming out of their pre-season now. I was a great interview from Scarmacca, I think it's the Athletic, saying that it might be a Telegraph, saying that he, at the moment, he feels like he's only at 70% at the moment, which is an honest, it's very honest. But for me, why are you at 70% now? You should be, to be honest, 100%, because you're playing one game a week, really, and you're 23. So why are you not 100%? In terms of 100%, 70% of your ability. If that means that's great. It's 70% to come. But if it's fitness, then there's a question. I think he needs more ability and adapting into the Premier League game. To be honest, loads of comments. He thinks he's doing something right. As we have, I know it was a strange comment. I think it was taken out of context. But you can, I'd like to have heard that. If that makes sense, like heard it rather than read it. I think it may be a bit slightly different. Hoping for the best, expecting the worst as usual. But heard yesterday we were talking about us having a break next Christmas as well. Not sure how true. There's not the Christmas, but there's a sort of a mini break. I think it's planned in for the sort of the 2nd, 3rd of January. So there's a little break in there. I think that's already in the pipeline. So having not a winter break as such, but getting the busy Christmas period out of the way, then having a little bit of a rest for a couple of weeks, which I'm not adverse to at all. Because also it means that people can concentrate on transfers as well, really, in January. So many games happening in January. It's almost like you've got one eye on the games and one eye on the transfers. But actually, if you can concentrate on transfers in a couple of weeks, you see a lot of activity as well there. I think it's not a bad idea. Players have been talking about the toxicity. Yeah, no, I think they have. That's the West Ham way. As fans, we're worried, but Moyes gives the attitude he's safe from being supported by the board, as he has credibility in the bank. Possibly. He comes across he does come across very confident, but he's an experienced manager. He's managed over 1,000 games, so he knows how to come across in the media. I thought it was interesting yesterday that the press conference was due at 1:30. It didn't start till 2:30 because he was still on the training ground. Strange, very, very strange. Morning. Usually also ever saying nice to each other. Last year, everyone knew their job and what they had to do, but players have been played in different positions. Partly, yeah, but I mean, you look at it squad-wise, and if you say today, I think you start Fabianski back for Cresswell. I think they'll go Zuma, Dawson, Kira, Rice, Souček, Bowen, Paqueta, Benrahma, Skamaka up front. There's not many different Kira and Skamaka and Paqueta. So there's 3 out of those, and 2 are playing in a sort of joined up, so to speak, in terms of Paqueta and Skamaka. I think the issue is for me, the issue is just converting chances. I mean, all through, even when we're in our pomp under Moyes, we'd win a game 1-0, 2-0. We weren't conceding, so that's good. But the trouble is, we weren't converting all the chances. Antonio would have 8 chances and score 1 of them. Now the trouble is, we've got 8 chances, not converting any of them, and then conceding in the back. So, for me, it's about getting that defence as tight as possible. If you're not conceding, then you've got all the chance, And if it's a 0-0, it's better than losing 1-0. And I appreciate that's not exciting football at the moment, but we're in a situation now where, I think what's the word? Can't think the actual word. Our characteristic last couple of years been a strong defence, set plays. They're sort of around the same people in terms of defence, and I think that's the issue. We're conceding, so we were never converting hundreds of chances. We'd get loads of chances, and we'd never convert them, or we'd do one, and then Taylor would hit. Don't forget, if you're a fan of West Ham clips, the astronaut, where the ball would sky up and knock the astronaut off the perch. That was last year. That was the year before. That's not new. So it's about shoring up that defence. I honestly think we'd have a few more points with if Agard wasn't injured. But it's if buts and maybes, isn't it? That we're in a situation now. We can't go back and say, actually, can we have those 3 points back? Can we have that point against Chelsea back? Because they're not going to happen. Not going to happen. So you play with the hands you dealt with now, and we're in a situation where we need to get points. So for me, it's about going. Oh, the sun's coming out. It's about going back to basics. I think tighten up the defence, working on the set plays, and once you've got that solid base, we haven't got the solid base we're working off now. That's what I'm worried about. The kids played last night, so they won't be on a bench. Back five starts. Well, not back five. Back four. We'll have back four tonight. I reckon back four. They did play well, but to be honest, we don't necessarily need our squad's strong enough now to not have the kids in the first team squad at the moment. If you agree with that, disagree with that, but it's experience is needed there, I'd say. But youthful exuberance does help sometimes as well. I've missed. There's a few comments. See if I can go back here a little bit. Been talking about players. Been talking about toxic atmosphere around some areas of the stadium. I think this is one thing the new players are finding difficult, possibly, but I'm sure Paqueta's played in front of very toxic fans at Lyon. Lee, good afternoon to you. Morning. Lineups already announced. Not for an hour before the game, not properly. You might have rumoured lineups, but they're not until an hour before the game. Everyone's to each other. And I see Sharky, good morning to you. Sorry, I can see a good atmosphere. I don't see good atmosphere. Fans are deflated. You know what? Whoever, and I've said this, I've said this on Blue in the Face recently. Whoever's in the dugout, I support as on kickoff. Whoever's playing on the pitch, I support as kickoff. I'm West Ham. I want West Ham to win. I don't agree with the premise that people go, I want West Ham to lose, so Moyes is out. How is that? You want West Ham to do well. You want West Ham to win. So for me, I don't sign up to that at all. And if he's in the dugout, and then eventually, if it's seen that he shouldn't be in the dugout and someone else is in the dugout, I'll support them because they manage my club, and the 11 people on the pitch, they play for my club, and they're my club, and I want my club to do well. I want my club to do, and at the moment now, it's not this. I know, and I totally get the sort of the spectrum in opinion in terms of you've used that joke a few times in terms of West Ham, in terms of who's in charge, but I think it goes too far sometimes, and I think the trouble is I think Moyes has raised his own expectations of the club. I think if he'd gone away, if he'd spent the last 2 seasons 10th, 11th, quarterfinals of a cup maybe, people would assume this is a continuation. Where because we've had the highs, it's almost like our expectation levels have risen, and then spending all that money, our expectations have risen even more, in my opinion. Good morning, Tommy. Great show from Tommy yesterday. Check it out. With 2 great guests, Laura and H as well. Very, very good. Thought the jeering was terrible on Sunday. hope there isn't a repeat today. It's not his fault that Moyes picks him. Right, this is my thing about Souček. It's actually a similar thing to the whole of West Ham in general, to be honest. Souček's not a fantastic player in terms of distribution. He's a blocker. He's a defensive player. But when he was scoring goals, people didn't see that bit of the game because he's scoring goals. Same as West Ham. West Ham were winning, and we were playing quite, our way of play hasn't changed dramatically in the last 2.5 years. That's part of the problem, I think. But for me, it's like it's the Thomas Souček effect. He's never been this type of player who will be a dynamic midfielder. That's not his job. He runs, and he ain't stopped running. And I think because his goals have dried up, people are seeing other facets of his game. When he's scoring, they didn't mind as much. But because he's not scoring, it's more open. Same as this side. If we were winning, I think there'd be grumbles. There'd be some grumbles of the way we're playing, and maybe it's a bit boring. There's always been grumbles about David Moyes' his play. But because we haven't been winning, it's exacerbated. That's a long word for me on a Saturday. That's my thoughts. Everyone's talking to each other. I don't think fans want us to lose. It's like lancing the boil. Stop the rot or let it fester. That's what they say, mate. I've heard plenty of fans saying they want us to lose today in the hope that Moyes won't be in the dugout. I don't get it. I'm a West Ham fan. That's my job. But I'm a West Ham fan, and I want us to succeed. I love our European, little European vacations. Granted, maybe it's not going to happen this year unless we win the Europa Conference. But at the end of the day, I can't deny the fact that football is a results-based business, and if the results don't come in, then that's the issue. I mean, I think compared to other eras, the money in the game is so huge. I mean, someone said to me the other day, I just want to play attractive football. We haven't played attractive football for years, consecutively on a consistent basis. But we've been a yo-yo club we haven't been a yo-yo club for the last 10 years. The longest period in the Premier League, in the top flight, in our history. And that's the starting point for me. It's about getting that 40 points. That's always been my goal, getting 40 points, and then seeing where we can go. But at the moment, we're not doing very well. I don't fear relegation, but it needs some sort of reset. Maybe the World Cup is a good time for us to be reset, so to speak. You look back at times where we've had breaks like COVID breaks and stuff like that, or even international breaks. Apart from COVID, we don't come back very well. So it's going to be really interesting to see how we cope with this break, as well as all the other clubs as well. I think we've got enough quality in this side to not worry about R. But I just don't. I totally get the style of football is quite boring. It is boring at the moment. But I think it's all under Moyes. It's always been boring. But then people were complaining as much, and we were, Champions League spots. It's only because we're not converting the chances. I think there's a real. I'm not one of these people who's particularly. What have we got here? Souček's always been a clunker, and it's clunker with no use. Exactly, Ralph. Same as the team. The team's always been a counter-attacking team that's hit teams on the account, but with a strong defence and will nick a goal. Sometimes we might randomly all click and we'd be put 3 or 4 past the team. But we're not getting that one goal, and then we're being sloppy in defence. So it's sort of the worst of both worlds in that respect. It's very It's very strange. We need to get behind the whole squad, so building confidence. I don't understand why fans lose goes, which is going to do the opposite. I totally agree. Crossland. Totally. What they should do, what everyone should do, in my opinion, just my opinion, is whoever's here today, sing their fucking hearts out. Because it's not, if they loved West Ham, they'll sing their hearts out for this club, and they'll have a proper, create a really good atmosphere. But we know what's going to happen if we don't come out of the traps. If Leicester score early, it's going to turn toxic, and we know that's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. I fear for that. So if you know it's going to happen, that could happen. Don't let it happen. Get out of them. Same people who moan say, "Oh, I'd rather lose 3-2 than lose 1-0." All right, then have a go and see what people say afterwards. If you look through this season and over the last couple of seasons, if we get beat, we don't get beat usually by more than one goal. It's always tight, and that just shows you fine margins. That to me is fine margins. If we're getting turned over 4-5-0 all the time by clubs, that shows there's something wrong. But for me, it's showing there's a fine margin there. It's a defensive error usually, or it's not scoring that chance. A lot of the games over this season can be changed by the flick of a coin. You look at Liverpool away, should have got a point there at least. You look at Man United away, should have got something out of that game. Chelsea, the VAR decision. That itself is 4 or 5 points we should have got. We haven't got. We can't look at that now. But that's 4 or 5 points we should have got. No, me neither. Green Street, hope you're well, my friend. Nice to see you. Injuries to keep Burns. Look at, he's got a broken nose. Every game we seem to get more injuries. But he carried on fighting, didn't he, old Emerson? We've been so unlucky. But maybe next year all the crosses leads to goals and we just get... Exactly. Nice to see you, mate. Anyway, Pete, I'm going to have to shoot. If you're come to the game, hope you enjoy. It's starting to warm up a little bit. The jacket will be coming off in a minute at the top. I don't think it's going to rain. I think it's about 17 degrees today, so enjoy the game. If you're watching a dodgy stream or anything like that, good luck to you. I'm not sure if we're doing a watch along today. Keep an eye on the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let me do my little plug. Make sure you subscribe to the channel with the bell notifications. We could have a watch along. Anton's it's one of his kids' birthdays today, so he'll be unavailable, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, maybe it depends how you look at it. Also, I don't know if you saw poor old Poppy. Yeah, Poppy Cleal. England this morning lost 34-31 in the final against New Zealand in New Zealand's back garden, Eden Park. England went down to 14 women after like 20 minutes. So they played the whole game with 14 women and they only lost almost at the death. So I was really, really gutted. Poppy came on, played well, got stuck in as she always does. Oh, no, sorry. Please, we will be doing a watch along. Breaking news, we'll be doing a watch along with this man tickling his head. Irish Tommy. So we will be doing a watch along. So make sure you check out Irish Tommy doing the watch along later on today. Irish Tommy's debut doing the watch along. I imagine he may well be joined by Matt, possibly. But anyway, as I said, take care, stay safe, stay well. Can I cheer if there's... You're totally right, Ralph. You're totally right. We need something on the picture of people to cheer about. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. And ta-ta, my friends. Stay safe. See you soon. Bye.
Good night.